Okay, we actually ran a bit short because of the internet problems over here, which happens on the weekends usually, and that is so common around here. Okay, where were we? We were with the SAP enterprise structure, assignment, HRM, assignment of personnel area, the company code, very important, and we had to give a country grouping AE, save. Now, what is a country grouping? Again, I actually mentioned some some countries are actually represented. Okay, some countries are represented in alphabets. Some are given numbers. Countries which are regulated by SAP as standards. Their standards as the whole country are given special numbers by the SAP itself. Anything outside of SAP's jurisdiction, not jurisdiction, but actually out of the standards that are usually covered in Americas and Europe, something external to that are given alphabetical representation. Uh, Countries like US, they have representation of 10, I believe. Let me just confirm that. Country grouping is 10. Yeah. Just a second, I'll just show you that. So if you see over here, 01 Germany, that is of course because SAP is from Germany, that's why it has given itself 01. USA is 10. Other countries which are covered in the standard are given numbers, but other countries like AE or um, like Pakistan, they are not actually covered in that standard and that umbrella of the standard. But if you look at it, surprisingly, um, I want to show India is covered in the standard. Okay, because India it has a lot of scope in the HCM, and that's why their standards are also very consolidated and very much established and formidable. That's why. Save, it's already saved. Let me just note it down what we have done. But I have to make notes so that I shouldn't actually miss this. Uh, Assignment for sort of area to company code that was ad hoc H53C to AE country grouping is AE. Okay. Okay. That being said, let's move on to the next one. And that will be employee group, subgroup, and employee group. Okay. Employee subgroup to employee group. So employee group was active, retiree, early retiree, and employee subgroup was hourly and salaried. Okay. Okay. Our employee group was MNO, M, W, H. WH is hourly. Okay. Country grouping. Country grouping, AE. Countries which are not covered in the list are given 99 as standard. Allowed, save, Okay, we have another one. New entries. M WS WS. Country. Okay, okay. Data was saved. Let me make a note of it. And okay, it was saved. That's why I believe. Um, M. Okay, M salary and hourly. Double click. Save. It already saved. Okay, we have to do for the same M and O. Okay, but it is only for active. We have not actually maintained for retiring and early retiring. We'll do it later, but right now, um, okay, this is employee group, employee group, employee subgroup, and that was MWH and MWS. Okay, and AE, AE allowed, allowed. Okay, that means said and done. Let's save it. Now let's go to another session, EC02. EC02 actually allows us to see what has been configured so far. EC02. Okay, here. Okay, organizational object. No. Plant H53. Business object. Business object is I want a company more other organization object. Okay. Company code. check. Company code H53C. Okay, organization object. Um, Organization object. Yeah, navigation. Okay, H53 ad hoc. Okay, what we have configured: company, controlling area, plant, personal area, and in personal area, what do we have? We have sub area in personal area. Okay, and it has been configured. And what else? Relationships are actually displayed. Fair enough. Okay, now coming back to the next segment, the new segment, we are starting a new lecture. That is lecture number 6. Let me open up the presentation. Okay, organizational management. What will we be covering? Expert mode concepts, simple structures, integration. What is an organizational structure? Is basically it's a model of the entire structures for reporting, and it gives you a bird's eye view and a detailed view of a very specific time period that we'll select. And it's also easy to evaluate and analyze, as we have just analyzed the structure, the organization structure. That's just one very small part that we've just seen. And it helps to plan our changes in the future. Okay. So these structures basically help us for compensation planning, for workflow planning, for personnel development, and so on. So organizational management is the structure that you have to create top down or bottom up, but again, based on the client's very much their own processes, they will want to reverse engineer and study each lean structure or a heavy structure or a deep structure and know about the components. Okay. So we will have a reporting structure for every department that may be different from the other department. And we'll have info types. We'll discuss what are info types in the future. In the overview, there are objects, relationships, and characteristics. Now, what are relationships? Relationships is that a manager is of which department, and that department has what kind of a relationship with the manager, who is he reporting to, and who reports to that manager. Okay. And The job description of the manager will be defined as well, and it describes his role and who is actually reporting to him and who is he himself reporting to. Or if there are any subordinates to that manager in that department, that will be a part of the structure as well. The characteristics, of course, will be the objects that we'll see how to create that. Okay. Now, plan versions, as I've mentioned in the previous lecture, now the plan versions are basically very specific to the company and the personnel area that we create. Okay, the HCM structure will be specific with the plan version, but since we're using a shared SAP server over here, we'll be using the current plan. Okay, otherwise, every company will have their own version of their planning for every year, for every quarter, no matter what. Okay. So every department or every subordinate company or a sister concern will have their own HR structure, which will be different from the other company as it is depicting over here. So the plan versions can be different for one company. It will be another plan version for another company. Now comes in objects and relationships. Now, what are basically the objects? Objects are organizational units. And within the organizational units, we will have jobs, positions, cost centers, and persons. And that's why we actually created the controlling area. I mean, that was an arduous task, but we had to do it today. And we've already created the controlling area, which allows us to define cost centers, which will then record the expenses, the payroll of that very job occupied by a person, okay, in that very organization unit, which can be a department, okay. So also these are the legends, the keys that represent these objects. Organizational units, they basically these can be departments and sub-departments, or it can be the grand level of the organizational as known as the organizational unit. The organizational structure is then defined and matured in this way, which can be different. Okay. So organizational unit PO10. Let's go and check that. PO10. That is for organizational structures. Current plan. Okay, we'll be using the current plan, the organizational unit that we created that day. Okay, this is the object relationship and description will be given. So we'll create an info type. Okay. Okay, we'll create it from 01, 01, object abbreviation HR ad hoc. We already actually have created that. And should we create it again? No, I don't think so. We should be creating that because that will create some confusion for us in the future. Let's keep it simple. We've already created HR ad hoc. We'll just see what was that. Okay, object, organization unit, and let's see what did we actually create. Okay, Westway, Lawrenceport, Walmart, Domino's, Coca-Cola. Where is HR ad hoc? HR ad hoc was not made. Organization unit will be ad hoc. Okay, that was not made. Fine. 01 ad hoc, ad hoc. Save. Okay. Different type of relationships will be actually created over here. And these are the relationships that will be maintained between the organizational unit. And these organizational units basically, yeah, organizational units and the relationships will be actually maintained between the departments. Either it's decentralized or centralized, that purely depends on the client's requirements. Okay. Right now, we are actually into organizational unit and we are actually creating it. And let me just finalize it. Reports to, now this is where we actually define our relationship. Either company departments will report to this or it will be a line supervisor. Okay, so we'll use reports to A02. Okay, belongs to reports to purchases for reserve pool assignments. We'll go for reports to. So now save it, ID, organizational unit, looking at organizational unit, organizational unit to adopt priority, save. Record has been created. The relationship has been created, and we'll see what is that. 5027 is the main top node of ad hoc Abu Dhabi Oil Company. Will just store this and P0 PO10. Okay, PO10 organization unit is 50225. Until it actually gets back, we'll discuss more. So what are jobs? The jobs is manager, buyer, secretary. These are basically jobs, are general classifications or set of tasks or functions that an employee is required to perform. When creating an organizational plan, jobs help you to create positions for the specification within the organization. Now, these jobs basically position is manager purchasing. We have a job manager. Now, a manager can be for purchasing department, sales department, HR department. So once it actually lands into a department, it becomes a position. But without any department, it is a job. A job can be a broader term that can be used in the departments. Positions are basically, as I've told you, are specifications tied to organization units or departments and are held by individuals in your organization. So first comes the job, then it creates a position in the department, and that position is held by a person. So each position is typically occupied by one employee. A position can, however, be filled by more than one employee. Okay, so for example, assistant managers can be more than one. Okay, so that position will be assigned to two people or more people, but one manager will be just one, will have to define the relationship. Cost centers can be related to organizational units and positions. Organizational unit is payroll department or accounts payable department or marketing department, and positions is assistant manager marketing. Okay. The relationship between organization and cost center is a hierarchically inherited along the structure. We have an HR department, and we have a sub-department, that is payroll department, in which there is a position manager benefits. Manager payroll will be the position filled up by a person by manager payroll, and it will be represented in the finance at the cost center level. Okay, we'll stop here for today. We'll continue from here.